The room pulsed with red emergency lights as Alex Carter's fingers hammered the keyboard, every stroke carrying the weight of survival. The system screamed in warning, each alarm a dagger to his chest, yet he pushed harder. Sarah Miller shouted, "We have to go," but Alex refused to move. He felt the betrayal burn inside him, the sting of knowing Victor Kane had set this trap. Smoke filled the narrow space, suffocating hope, and every second felt like a lifetime. Alex whispered, "Not yet, I can stop him," though doubt clawed at his mind. The monitor bled with encrypted lines, digital chaos reflecting his collapsing world. Marcus Reed kicked the door, urging Alex to run, but he knew history itself was on the line. Sirens outside wailed like ghosts, warning of the storm to come. In that instant, Alex realized his choice was not between escape and capture, but between silence and truth. With trembling resolve, he struck one last command, unleashing a secret that would change everything. The bunker shook with the aftershock of Alex's keystroke, as if the world had gasped at his defiance. He staggered back, coughing through the thick smoke, while Sarah dragged him toward the open door Marcus had forced. Alarms screamed, drowning out their voices, yet Alex's eyes never left the monitor where Victor's ghostly smirk lingered. Alex muttered, "He knows I broke him," even as Sarah cried, "You nearly killed us all." Marcus's boots echoed against the corridor, pulling them into a maze of shadows. Behind them, the room flickered like a dying heart, warning that nothing would ever be the same again. Outside, rain hammered the streets, sirens wailed, and Alex stumbled into the storm. Neon lights reflected in pools of water, fractured like broken promises. Sarah pressed him against a wall, shouting, "You were reckless," while Marcus scanned the alley with his weapon ready. Alex, clutching his chest, whispered, "Victor wanted this, every step, every move." He saw the reflection of Victor's shadow in the glass storefront across the street, an omen reminding him that the war wasn't just digital, it was personal. The storm drowned their words, yet Alex's heart pounded louder than thunder. Sarah's hands trembled as she pressed his wounds, whispering, "You're not invincible, Alex." Marcus hissed, "We need to move now." In the distance, unmarked vans slid silently into position, headlights muted like predators stalking prey. Alex forced himself upright, his breath ragged. He knew Victor's reach was everywhere, and every shadow threatened to swallow them whole. The trio ducked into an abandoned subway entrance, echoes of dripping water masking their hurried breaths. Graffiti whispered forgotten names on cracked tiles as flickering fluorescent lights revealed their exhaustion. Sarah said, "We can't keep running forever," her voice breaking. Alex leaned against the wall, whispering, "This isn't running, it's the beginning." Marcus stood guard, his silhouette rigid against the stairwell glow, aware that they had crossed into enemy territory where survival was uncertain and betrayal lurked around every corner. The subway tunnel groaned like a dying beast, the echo of dripping water masking their breathing. Alex Carter slumped against the cold wall, blood drying on his temple, his eyes vacant with exhaustion. Sarah Miller crouched beside him, her hand trembling as she touched his shoulder. She whispered, "You can't carry this alone," but her voice was laced with fear more than comfort. Marcus Reed leaned against a rusted pillar, silent but watchful, his hand never straying far from his weapon. Alex closed his eyes, memories flashing, his father's betrayal, his childhood erased by lies, every loss carved into his soul. He muttered, "I was never meant to be a hero, Sarah." She gripped his hand tightly, saying, "Then be human, that's enough." For the first time, Alex let the weight of her words break through his armor, and for one fragile second, he allowed himself to feel. Hours passed like lifetimes as the storm raged above. Sarah sat across from Alex, her auburn hair clinging damply to her cheeks, her eyes burning with frustration. She asked softly, "Do you even know why you fight?" Alex's gaze was hollow, his fingers twitching as though still coding in the air. He whispered, "Because if I stop, they win." Marcus snorted, pacing the edge of the tunnel, muttering, "That's not fighting. That's bleeding out." Sarah's voice cracked. "I don't care about their war, Alex. I care about you." Her words hung heavy, pulling him from his spiral. For the first time, Alex saw the fear in her eyes, not for the world, but for him. It was the anchor he never knew he needed, and it terrified him. Above ground, dawn broke over a fractured city, neon lights fading into the pale wash of morning. Alex, Sarah, and Marcus emerged into the alley, their breath fogging in the chill air. A police drone hovered silently above, its lens scanning with mechanical patience. Marcus growled, "We can't linger, eyes are everywhere." Alex narrowed his gaze, whispering, "That drone isn't theirs, it's his." Sarah's hand found his, her grip trembling yet firm. She whispered, "Then every step we take together." For once Alex didn't pull away, though fear gripped him tighter than chains. Across the rooftops, a shadow stirred, watching. The ghost of Victor Kane's reach reminding them that safety was an illusion. They slipped into an abandoned library, dust thick on forgotten shelves, sunlight breaking through shattered windows like shards of memory. Evelyn Shaw, the mentor, stepped from the shadows, her lined face marked by scars of old battles. Her voice was calm, but sharp. "You've crossed a line that cannot be undone." Alex's jaw clenched, bitterness rising. He snapped, "You knew Kane before I did. You let this happen." Evelyn's eyes darkened, regret seeping through her composure. She whispered, "I tried to stop him, and I failed. Don't let my failure become yours." Sarah glanced between them, her chest tight with unease. Marcus muttered under his breath, "We're running in circles while the world burns." In that crumbling sanctuary, Alex felt his rage and doubt collide, knowing the truth was buried deeper than he dared to dig. Night fell again, cloaking the city in uneasy silence. The group huddled inside a derelict warehouse, broken glass crunching beneath their boots. Sarah leaned against Alex, whispering, "You can't shut me out forever." His voice was low, bitter. "Every time I let someone close, I lose them." Marcus stood guard by the open window, city lights flickering behind him. Evelyn sat apart, scribbling in a worn notebook, her silence heavier than any lecture. Sarah lifted Alex's chin, forcing him to meet her eyes. She said, "I'm not here to be saved. I'm here because I believe in you." For a moment, Alex's walls cracked, and he allowed her warmth to touch the parts of him long frozen. But in the distance, unseen, Victor Kane's network pulsed alive, his trap tightening with every heartbeat. The warehouse trembled as metal shutters slammed shut, sealing them inside. Alex Carter's pulse quickened as the lights flickered, and he realized someone had sold them out. Marcus Reed cursed, pulling his rifle into position, muttering, "We've been tracked." Sarah Miller's face went pale as she whispered, "It was never safe here." Evelyn Shaw's voice cut through the chaos, low and heavy with regret. "This was no accident." Alex slammed his fist against the wall, rage surging as he shouted, "Who told him where we were?" His eyes darted to every shadow, every corner, as paranoia carved itself into his thoughts. The betrayal wasn't outside, it was inside, close, and it was tearing them apart faster than any enemy could. The silence after the shutters locked was heavier than the storm outside. Marcus prowled the shadows like a caged predator, his jaw clenched tight. He snarled, "You brought this on us, Alex." Alex snapped back, "I didn't invite Kane into my life, Marcus. He built it around me." Sarah stepped between them, trembling, her voice breaking as she said, "Stop tearing each other apart." Evelyn remained seated, her eyes downcast, whispering to herself as though fighting demons long buried. The tension split the group wide open, suspicion seeding itself in every glance, every pause, every unspoken thought. Hours later, they found a lead buried in the wreckage of a discarded server, its circuits still faintly glowing. Alex hunched over the device, his hands shaking as code spilled across the cracked screen. He muttered, "This isn't just Kane's work. Someone inside fed him our moves." Sarah leaned close, whispering, "Who?" Marcus's shadow loomed over them, his silence sharper than any accusation. Evelyn's voice trembled as she said, "There are ties between Kane and the old agency, ties I never revealed." Alex's face hardened as he realized the lies weren't only from enemies, They were from the people he trusted most. When the rain eased, they moved to the rooftops, the city sprawling below like a wounded beast. There, Daniel Cross appeared from the mist, his figure sharp and confident. Alex froze, recognizing the ghost of his own reflection. Daniel smirked, saying, "You could have been me, Alex. You still can." His words twisted like a blade, offering not salvation but surrender. Sarah gasped, "You're working with Kane," but Daniel's laugh was cold and empty. "I'm working for survival. Something you'll never understand." For Alex, the foil was more terrifying than Kane himself. Because Daniel wasn't wrong. He was what Alex could become. Lightning split the sky as Alex lunged forward, rage boiling over. Daniel's smirk widened, his eyes gleaming with cruel amusement. "You'll regret every choice you made," he taunted, stepping back into the mist. Sarah clutched Alex's arm, screaming, "Don't do this!" Marcus shouted, "It's a trap!" But Alex's heart pounded louder than their warnings. For the first time, he saw himself mirrored in Daniel's defiance, and it terrified him. The storm roared above, drowning their voices, as Alex realized every step he took would draw him deeper into Kane's design. Victor Kane's voice spilled from hidden speakers in the abandoned high-rise, smooth and venomous. "You're dancing to my tune, Alex," he taunted, his words echoing against cracked glass. Alex Carter's jaw clenched as rage rose like fire in his chest. Sarah Miller pressed against him, whispering, "Don't listen, he's baiting you." Marcus Reed scanned the shadows, muttering, "He's closer than we think." Evelyn Shaw stiffened, her eyes narrowing, as Kane revealed details only she should have known. Alex's stare cut through her, sharp as steel. Betrayal clung to the air, heavier than smoke, and for the first time, he realized Kane didn't need to kill them. He only had to make them destroy each other. The group descended into a dim stairwell, footsteps echoing like gunshots. Marcus shoved Alex against the wall, spitting, "Tell me why he knows everything about us." Alex shoved back, shouting, "Because one of us is feeding him." Sarah screamed for them to stop, but her voice broke in the suffocating tension. Evelyn whispered, "I told you, I knew Kane once. He was one of mine." The admission shattered the silence, leaving Alex frozen in disbelief. Marcus's eyes flared with fury, his rifle trembling in his grip. Trust splintered, fragile as glass, and every step they took downward carried the weight of betrayal. They stumbled into an underground chamber, cables coiling like snakes across the floor. At its center glowed a stolen terminal, streaming Kane's commands. Sarah gasped as her face appeared on the screen, recorded from moments she thought private. "He's been inside my life," she whispered, trembling. Alex's chest tightened, rage mixing with guilt. "He doesn't just want to break me," Alex said. "He wants to erase us all." Marcus smashed the terminal with the butt of his rifle, sparks raining down. But Evelyn only stared into the screen's final flicker, her voice trembling. "I knew this was coming. I led him here long ago." Outside, the storm returned, lightning tearing across the skyline. Alex dragged Sarah through the rain, shouting, "We can't trust anyone now." Marcus trailed close, weapon ready, his silence heavier than words. Evelyn followed, her hood up, shadows hiding her face. Sarah cried, "We can't survive if we turn on each other." But Alex's mind spun with rage and doubt. In every reflection, he saw Kane's smirk. Every shadow felt like a hand reaching for his throat. Betrayal wasn't just behind them, it was inside, growing, and it threatened to tear apart everything they had left. They took refuge in a derelict cathedral, shattered stained glass, painting fractured colors across the floor. Sarah's voice cracked as she said, "If we keep tearing each other apart, Kane wins." Alex fell to his knees, fists clenched, whispering, "He already has." Marcus paced, eyes darting, muttering, "We can't afford weakness." Evelyn stood near the altar, hands trembling as she touched the cracked stone. She whispered, "I gave him his first weapon. I built the monster you fight." Alex's head snapped toward her, betrayal etched deep into his face. In the broken silence of that cathedral, the line between ally and enemy blurred, and trust dissolved into ash. The cathedral doors groaned open, thunder echoing through the cavernous space. Victor Kane stepped inside, his figure cloaked in shadow, a predator savoring his victory. Alex Carter froze, rage and fear twisting inside him. Sarah Miller clutched his arm, whispering, "Don't let him break you." Marcus Reed aimed his rifle, growling, "End this now." But Evelyn Shaw raised her hand, voice trembling, "Stop. He is here because of me." Alex's breath caught as she whispered, "I created the virus Kane wields. He was my protégé." The revelation shattered the silence, the betrayal deeper than any wound. Kane's smirk widened, his eyes glinting, as if savoring every fracture in their trust. Lightning burst overhead, illuminating Evelyn's haunted face. She whispered, "Kane was once my student. I trained him, I armed him, I believed in him." Alex staggered back, his voice raw. "You lied to me." Sarah's eyes glistened with tears as she gasped, "All this death, because of you?" Kane laughed, his voice smooth. "She gave me the keys. I only opened the door wider." Marcus's rage boiled as he shouted, "You betrayed us all!" Evelyn bowed her head, her shoulders shaking, whispering, "I never meant for this, but the monster is mine." The truth bled into the air, heavy and irreversible, binding them all in the same curse. Kane's voice cut like a blade, echoing through the chamber. "You think you can undo what I've built? You are all standing inside my web." Screens flickered to life across the altar, displaying files of Alex's childhood, moments erased from memory. Alex's knees buckled as he whispered, "He knew me before I knew myself." Sarah gasped, clutching his hand, "He's been inside your life forever." Evelyn turned away, guilt painting her face. Marcus snarled, "He's playing with you." But Alex's eyes locked on Kane's, cold realization dawning. He wasn't just Kane's enemy, he was Kane's design. The storm outside roared louder, as if the heavens themselves recoiled at the truth. Alex rose slowly, his face pale, his voice shaking. "I'm not your creation," he said, though his doubt betrayed him. Kane stepped closer, eyes gleaming, whispering, "Every scar, every betrayal, every loss. I wrote it for you." Sarah screamed, "You don't own him," but her words seemed fragile against the weight of Kane's presence. Evelyn collapsed onto a pew, her sobs breaking through the thunder. Marcus growled, "Say the word, Alex, and I'll put him down." But Alex knew killing Kane wouldn't kill the truth. That was the twist that threatened to destroy him. Kane spread his arms, a dark messiah basking in his dominion. "You are not my enemy, Alex. You are my legacy." The words shattered Alex's will, his breath shallow as the room spun. Sarah's desperate cry broke through the chaos. "You're not him, you're more than his shadow." Marcus's finger hovered over the trigger, whispering, "Give me the order." Evelyn lifted her head, her broken voice pleading, "Don't let him win by becoming him." Alex's fists tightened, his body trembling between collapse and defiance. The twist was complete. He wasn't just fighting Kane. He was fighting himself. The storm howled through shattered, stained glass, lightning igniting the cathedral like a furnace of judgment. Victor Kane advanced with calm precision, every step echoing authority. Alex Carter stood in his path, fists trembling, voice breaking as he shouted, "I am not your legacy." Kane's smirk cut deeper than any blade. Sarah Miller gripped Alex and, crying, "You don't have to fight him alone." Marcus Reed steadied his weapon, growling, "One shot, Alex, say the word." Evelyn Shaw pressed against the altar, whispering prayers to a god she no longer believed in. The air burned with tension, every breath a countdown to war. Kane lunged first, striking with brutal precision, his fists fueled by cold rage. Alex staggered back, blood spraying across the stone, but he refused to fall. Sarah screamed his name, pulling him up as Marcus fired, sparks erupting when the bullets struck Kane's armored coat. Kane laughed, voice echoing, "You're weaker than I imagined." Alex's chest heaved, his vision blurred, but defiance flared. "I'm still standing," he gasped. Evelyn cried, "This isn't the way." but her voice was swallowed by the storm and the clash of steel and bone. The battle spread like wildfire, shattering pews and splintering stone. Marcus charged, swinging his rifle as a club, crashing against Card. Kane twisted, driving him into the ground with terrifying strength. Sarah dragged Alex to his feet, her tears mixing with rain dripping through the roof. "You can't win his way," she begged. "You'll lose yourself." Alex roared, driving forward with fists fueled by every scar, every betrayal, every ghost haunting him. Evelyn's voice cracked through the chaos. "Alex, the code. Use the code." Her words lit a spark in his eyes. Alex staggered toward the altar, blood dripping from his brow, fingers trembling as he reached for the corrupted console Kane had hidden there. "End this with strength, not rage," Evelyn pleaded. Kane's laughter echoed. "You think code can save you? I am the code." Sarah screamed, "Alex, don't let him inside." Marcus crawled from the rubble, his voice hoarse. "Do it! End him!" Alex hesitated, every choice crushing him. His reflection flickered on the screens, fractured between savior and monster, until his hands struck the keys with trembling certainty. The console erupted with light, code cascading like fire through the cathedral walls. Kane screamed, his body convulsing as the virus turned against him. "You can't erase me," he roared, his voice shattering into static. Alex's face twisted with anguish, whispering, "I'm not erasing you, I'm rewriting history." Sarah clung to him, shielding her eyes from the blinding glow. Marcus covered Evelyn as the building quaked under the surge. Kane's form dissolved into the storm of data, a monster consumed by his own design. Alex collapsed to his knees, every breath heavy with the cost of victory. Silence swallowed the cathedral after the storm of code, dust drifting like ashes in the faint moonlight. Alex Carter collapsed at the altar, every breath jagged, his hands trembling from the weight of what he had unleashed. Sarah Miller knelt beside him, whispering, "You're still here. That's what matters." Marcus Reed limped through rubble, clutching his ribs, muttering, "We won, but at what cost?" Evelyn Shaw stared into the void where Kane had stood, her voice low and broken. "I see his shadow even now." The war was over, but their scars glowed brighter than victory, etched deep into the silence. The group emerged into the dawn, the storm gone, the city scarred but eerily calm. Smoke curled from broken towers, as if the skyline itself was mourning. Sarah whispered, "It doesn't feel like victory," her eyes on the ruins. Alex replied, voice hoarse, because victory never feels clean. Marcus limped behind them, rifle hanging useless, muttering, "The fight never ends." Evelyn trailed last, her hands shaking as she clutched her notebook, whispering confessions only the wind could hear. The city was alive again, but the world they knew was gone. In the shadow of a ruined overpass, Daniel Cross reappeared, bloodied but alive, his smirk cracked with pain. "See, Alex," he rasped, "we're the same. You just made the darker choice louder." Alex froze, his reflection staring back in the foil's broken grin. Sarah stepped forward, fierce, shouting, "No, he chose differently. That's what makes him more than you." Daniel laughed, coughing blood, before staggering away into the smoke. His survival was a warning, a reminder that some ghosts never die. They found refuge in a half-collapsed subway station, flickering lights buzzing above rusted tracks. Marcus lowered himself onto broken steps, grimacing with pain, muttering, "I'll keep watch until my last breath." Evelyn sat apart, her voice a cracked whisper. "I armed the monster. I must now bear the weight of his ashes." Sarah leaned close to Alex, placing her hand on his chest. "You're alive. That's enough for me." Alex stared into the flickering light, whispering, "But is it enough for history?" His question lingered, heavier than the silence. At sunrise, Alex stood alone on a rooftop, wind tearing at his torn jacket, the city glowing beneath scarred skies. Sarah's voice echoed in his mind, soft and steady. "You're not his legacy, you're your own." He closed his eyes, letting the words anchor him against the storm inside. Below, the city stirred, unaware of the cost of its survival. Alex whispered to the wind, "History isn't written by those who win, it's rewritten by those who refuse to break." He turned from the edge, scars etched deep, yet alive, leaving the rooftop in silence that felt eternal.